Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I am going to talk about why I've continued to work after I had Walt and Whitney. I have 3 kids in daycare, so I get asked a lot, why don't you just stay at home? If you don't know, a couple of years ago, I was pregnant with my twins, and I wrote a post for Awesome Mom's blog about, basically why I'm going to continue to work to make nothing. And now when I think about that post, I also think, well, it's not me making nothing. My income contributes just like Alex's, so maybe he's making nothing. We're all losing money because of daycare, so it doesn't really matter whose paycheck it comes from. That's not the point. After I wrote that blog post, I wrote it pretty short. I wasn't trying to really go into like great detail. I didn't think it was going to spark such a big conversation. Well, it did, and I got a lot of hate from some crazy moms. Just had to give their opinion. And I'm okay with you giving me your opinion about why you chose to be at home, but don't start, judging me or telling me what I should do. Like, everyone has their own route and the way they want to live their life. And if you want to stay at home or you want to work, like, I don't care, but I'm not going to go comment on someone's post. Like, if you don't like your effing kids, don't have them. Meaning, if you don't like to stay home with your kids, then you shouldn't have them. Who likes their kids 24/7? Because if that lady likes her kids 24/7, she's God. That's insane. To say that I get annoyed by my kids, and I mean, that's just life. Like, that's normal. It was kind of crazy how that blog post kind of like went woo. I mean, it still hurts my feelings when people say, well, your kid, you don't love your kid as much as moms that do stay home and you're not nurturing them. How could you let someone else watch them all day? I mean, yeah, I already feel guilty a little bit about it anyway, so it doesn't help. But I put it out there, so I'm going to get comments, so I should just be okay with that. So I want to go into a little bit more detail about why I made the decision to continue working. So you really have to look at, your career. And for me, my career was marketing. You have to know a little bit about my past as to why I didn't stay home. So when I was pregnant with Turner, I was a marketing manager for a tequila company. And after he was born, I quit. The job was really stressful and it was a really big commute, and I was just not liking it. So I quit, and I didn't have another job lined up. And a part of me was like, oh, I want to stay home. But I really knew I'd probably have to go back to work because financially we couldn't afford it. So 2 months later, I was interviewing at jobs. Couldn't find anything that would either pay enough or wasn't a huge commute. So I ended up taking a job at State Farm as a auto claims like rep. Basically, I handle car accidents, an insurance adjuster. And it was a real blow to my ego because it was not on the path of marketing. Like, I got my undergrad in marketing, I got my MBA, and I was a marketing manager, and then I'm a claim rep. Like, what? This does not look good on a resume. I hate making my resume not look good and line up. But I took that because I have a friend there, and he said they had a marketing department and I could work my way into that department. So I did it. I needed a job, and I took it. And a year and a half later, I did get into the marketing department, and I worked my butt off to do that. So I was really excited. But I learned from that it is hard to get a marketing job in Austin. Yes, there are a lot of marketing jobs, but at the right price point, at the right location, you have a ton of competition in this area. So when I found out I was pregnant with Walt and Whitney, and like weighed how much it would cost for daycare and what it would cost to stay at home, and and our bills, one of the biggest things was, okay, well, when they're back in school, will I be able to get another job? And I just didn't want to lose 5 years of experience to be at home. And I know that might sound horrible to people, but it's just the way it is. I mean, maybe if I was a teacher or in a role where, you can just like immediately get a job, like maybe a nurse, I don't know, whatever type of job that is, then I would have no problem. Like, oh yeah, I'll just take off these 5 years and I'll just get right back in. Like, I didn't miss a beat. Marketing, you're going to miss a lot in 5 years. So much happens that I just couldn't lose that experience, and on like where I was in my career and the money, like I just didn't want to take a step back in my career. That was a large part of it. Another large part of it was I am still making more money working than if I was at home. Yeah, we could make it work if I stayed at home, but it would be, I mean, really, really hard. And again, I just had to factor in the other part of it. It wasn't just like one thing that I'm factoring, like the money. Oh yeah, well, we can deal with that for a couple of years, like not, living off beans and rice and not making any money and barely paying our bills. But it was all these things together that ultimately made my decision. And I think the last thing was I don't like to stay at home all day. I don't know. I just have to be around people, and maybe I definitely think that I could be a stay-at-home mom and still get that human interaction. I'd have to be very intentional. I'd have to set play dates. I'd have to have like, events to go to. I'd have to continue to blog. I think I could do it, but it would just be really hard. And I just get really annoyed with my kids. Like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm a better mom when I work, because when I come home, I'm not that stressed, I try to take roles that aren't like life altering, that every single day I'm like on my computer at night, or I'm super stressed because I got to get this done. Like, I want a good job, but it's not going to rule my life. My family is the most important thing. The job just pays the bills. My relationship with Alex is nice. I know that when I was at home with Turner, when he would come home, I would just like hand him off. I'm like, I'm done. You take him. I'm out of here. And I wouldn't even like spend time with Alex because I didn't want to be around Turner. I just wanted to be away from the baby. And so I feel like when Alex and I come together at the end of the night, we're experiencing the kids for the first time for the day, or after our crazy mornings, but we're with the kids, we're with each other, and, we get to enjoy that. So it's nice. If Alex made a crap ton of money and we could really afford for me to stay at home, you better believe I'd be at home. Yeah, I would totally do like a Mother's Day out program and, get that me time and blog and do all that fun stuff. But really, I just can't financially. I mean, yeah, kind of sucks, but that's just where we are. So with all that to say, I just want to I know people were interested in why I continue to work. Thankfully, the baby's daycare gives us a 2-for-1 deal. So we're saving almost $1,000 on daycare because she's amazing and saving us a ton of money. So whether you choose to work or you choose to stay at home, I don't care. I mean, everybody is doing their best, and that's all we can ask for. So no judgment here. I love my stay-at-home moms, and I love my working moms, and I don't give a crap what you do. Being a working mom is difficult. Mornings are crazy. My house is a mess always. I don't cook very often because I don't really have a lot of time for it. Weekends are spent washing clothes, cleaning, and getting ready for Monday. Mornings are a nightmare, but there are some pros to it. Getting to get dressed up, having silence for 8 hours, getting to eat lunch without like children's hands on me, not having to feed children lunch. I'm not trying to persuade anyone one way or the other. Each one has its pros and cons. I can just tell you what I experience every day. I also enjoy using the degree that I worked really hard for. I also really enjoy marketing, and it's something that I enjoyed studying. I love doing on a daily basis. So I love my career, which makes me want to work more. I know a lot of people who have become moms that maybe studied something that they're not passionate about anymore, or they haven't found the right job, so they'd rather just be at home, and that's okay. Moms have lots of skills, and if you are a stay-at-home mom and you want to go back to work, do not think that you do not have skills to give to your employer. I mean, organization, time management, adaptability, empathy, you name it. Like, you're dealing with the little tiny human that is sucking everything out of you, and there's so much stress, and you have to handle it. And you have to be a good person, and you have to figure out the best way to do things, and logistics of like getting kids in the car and going to A to B and getting dinner, and just, you do so much. Do not think that you're unhireable, because you totally are. Thanks guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, leave me a note in the comments. I'd be happy to answer it. Have a great day.